Welcome to the Know, I'm Mica Burton. Did Bully 2 get leaked by accident this week? Well, that's what some gamers have been speculating thanks to a recently discovered page on Game Informer. Redditors found the listing on Game Informer for Bully 2, Kevin's Backjack, which apparently was created for the site back in May. Once the page made the rounds, Game Informer quickly deleted it and have now stated that they don't know what's going on with it. The outlet tweeted, "You might be seeing reports that we have reported Bully 2 exists. This is an error. We have not heard anything about a sequel to Bully." When asked for more details about how it ended up on their site, executive editor Andrew Rayner commented further that they're looking into it. A Bully sequel is rumored just about every other month in the video game world, so if this one's real, please let that name just be a placeholder because it doesn't make sense and it sounds very, very weird. Backwards compatibility has been back in the spotlight this week. Sony called it something nobody uses, then Ars Technica did a report showing that it was true on Xbox at least, where only 1.5% of total playtime is devoted to backwards compatible titles. But yesterday, Xbox VP Mike Ybarra pushed back on that report, and now more Xbox executives are backing him up. Xbox CMO Mike Nichols tweeted about backwards compatibility. Roughly 50% of Xbox One owners have played over 508 million hours of gaming enjoyed. Phil Spencer joined in too, saying, "Usually 1 or 2 BC games in our daily top played games. Usage remains high. Quality games last and are worth playing." It's interesting to note that they're not really refuting the report, they're just putting a different spin on those numbers. So our guess is that backwards compatibility is going to continue to be a big talking point for them at E3. Sony bosses indicated earlier that this week the SpiderMan for PS4 would be showing up at E3, and now the game's developers Insomniac have confirmed that to be the case. The company announced on Twitter, "It's true, we're bringing hashtag SpiderMan PS4 to hashtag E3 next week." The big question is, of course, when we'll actually get to play Spider-Man. Earlier this year, a Marvel executive listed the game as one of the exciting things to be hitting Marvel in 2017, so it's possible we'll find out that it's coming in the fall or the holiday season. You know, because we don't already have enough games to play already and our wallets aren't already crying. Rumors are flying everywhere that Capcom is working on a Super Street Fighter V, which will be a huge update to the content and mechanics of Street Fighter V. These rumors come courtesy of a supposed Reddit leaker who has previously leaked some things about other Capcom fighting games in the past, and in a huge info dump, the leaker outlined content for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, as well as Seasons 2 and 3 of Street Fighter V. But more interestingly, he also talked about Super Street Fighter V, which will apparently bring a UI overhaul, arcade mode, extra battle mode, a PvE mode against the Illuminati, new critical arts, and expansion to the game's mechanics. Wow, that's a lot of stuff. And best of all for Street Fighter fans, Super Street Fighter V will allegedly be totally free. So supposedly all this will get announced at Capcom Cup for possible release next year, so you know, we'll keep you updated. Stay tuned. 2 games that have been in development for a very long time have finally gotten some release info this week. The first of those is Ninja Theory's Hellblade: Sensuous Sacrifice, which will be a digital title available for just $30 on August 8th for PS4 and PC. If you're not familiar with Ninja Theory, they're the minds that also brought us Heavenly Sword, Enslaved, Odyssey to the West, and DMC Devil May Cry. They're calling Sensuous Sacrifice an indie AAA action title, and it's half the size of a normal AAA, so it's priced accordingly. Another long-standing game without a release date? Fortnite, the co-op horde mode title from Epic Games, which was just first announced back in 2011. Wow, that was a long time ago. Epic announced that Fortnite will finally be playable on July 24th as an early access title for just $40 and free to play sometime in 2018. Not sure how many people will want to pay to play that game early, but hey, more power to you, Epic. One of the big stories of 2017 was the sudden cancellation of Microsoft exclusive Scalebound, the co-op dragon RPG from Platinum Games. And now Platinum Games director and Scalebound creator Hideki Kamiya has issued an apology to fans. Kamiya told IGN, "For the fans, an apology is really all that I can offer. I'm terribly sorry. It's unfortunate that the project was cancelled, but we still gained something from the work we put into the project over several years. As for what's next, Kamiya says he's got several projects in mind for his next game, and you'll know it's from him when you see it. We have faith in you, Kamiya. We can't wait to see what you put out." But unfortunately, bad news, Shenmue 3 fans, you're going to have to wait even longer for the game to release. The game's developer EaseNet announced on the game's Kickstarter page that the release target has been moved to the second half of 2018. The game's creative lead, Yu Suzuki, said more time is needed in order to realize the game's concept, and he promised to share more details later this month. So far, the game has raised Wow! More than $6.3 million for more than 69,000 backers. So there's clearly a lot of interest in a new installment of the classic Dreamcast series. Is Castlevania coming to the Switch? Maybe, possibly, hopefully. In a conference call, the website Nintendo64 talked with Richard Jones, a European brand manager with Konami. In the interview, the subject of the Switch came up and Jones said, "We're hearing a lot of desires from our fans for a new Castlevania series. So we do know there's a demand for a new game, but right now nothing is set in stone as the discussions are still ongoing." So it sounds like nothing is definitive yet, but Castlevania and Nintendo definitely go way back together, so it's definitely a possibility. Are you guys ready for some video game history? Well, for the first time, a game is eligible for an Academy Award. Yes, you heard that right, and unfortunately, we're not talking about Breath of the Wild. The PlayStation 4 and PC game Everything recently won the Jury Prize in Animation at the Vienna Shorts Festival, which means that it could qualify for the Animated Short Film Oscar. The game's creator, David O'Reilly, tweeted that this was the first time that this has happened to a game or an interactive project. If you've never played Everything, it's basically a glorified screensaver where you can control anything in the game's environment, from rocks to animals. We here at The Know are particularly big fans of the awkward somersaulting bear, so yeah, weird fucking bear, bring home that Oscar for Everything. It looks like the new cinematic universe of classic movie monsters is off to a horrible start. The Mummy, starring Tom Cruise, hits theaters tomorrow, and critics, well man, they really do not like it. It's currently got a paltry 21% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 39% on Metacritic, which is Suicide Squad territory. Holy shit. Peter Travers of Rolling Stone said, "How meh is The Mummy? Let me count the ways. For all the digital desperation from overworked computers, this Tom Cruise reboot lands on screen with a resounding thud." Meanwhile, the Chicago Tribune called it a pain in the sarcophagus. The movie is supposed to be the start of the Dark Universe, which is a series of connected movies starring the classic monsters like Dracula, the Invisible Man, and Phantom of the Opera apparently, along with others, but it looks like they should have kept this movie under wraps. South Korea doesn't mess around when it comes to your video games, and they are about to start cracking down hard on video game hacks. Kotaku reports that starting on June 21st, making and distributing game hacks will be completely illegal there. The law apparently is aimed at hacks that negatively impact games, but it also outlaws creating and distributing private servers. Anyone found guilty can be fined up to $50,000 or get 5 years in prison. Ouch, man. So can you just imagine being in a cell like, what are you in for? Murder? Robbery? Nah, man. I played Genji and I auto-aimed in Overwatch. And you're just sitting there like flipping a dime. Wait, that's a greaser. I don't know how jail works. Well, that's all the news we have for you today. For more news from every corner of the internet and more proof that Mica doesn't know what happens in jail, make sure you like this video. And if you're new around here, subscribe to The Know. I'm scared. I'm going to be eating ramen for a long time. Phil Spencer joined in too, saying, "Usually 1 or 2 backwards compatibility games in our top played games." Wait, what? That's not even a correct sentence, Phil Spencer. Phil Spencer joined in too, saying, "Usually 1 or 2 BC games in our daily top played games."